You have to be a big kid, even if it's hard. That's what big kids do.
I'm 18 today. This is my favorite line in all of fiction. Taken on its own, it gives me chills every time I hear it or speak it out loud. The reason that it is so impactful to me, if I had to make a guess, is because of its simplicity. It's written obviously for a young reading age. Short sentences, short words, compact ideas. I taught myself to read at 3 and was reading at a 12th grade level in grade 4. This line isn't meaningful to me because of childhood nostalgia or whatever. My memories from the ages of 5 to 12 are a blur. The only way I can sort through my memories is through the layout of the classroom that I happened to be in at the time, and I couldn't tell you anything that happened in my home life. I know that I'm not drawn to this quote because at literally no time in my life was I the target audience for it. Gone are the typical trappings of what we dissociate with quality writing. Different perspectives, interpretive prose, a natural flowing of ideas. Most children can't identify those things, so ambiguity, subtlety, nuance, all need to be ignored. That doesn't mean that children's writing can't be quality, it just can't be conventionally high quality. It's operating under different conventions for a different audience. This line is so blunt because it has to be, and it makes me feel something. I'm just not sure yet. You have to be a big kid, even if it's hard. That's what big kids do. I'm 18 today. If I had to make another guess, I'd say that this line is impactful because of its juvenile disposition. No quote-unquote big kid has ever used the term big kid. You can get all the information you need about the speaker of this line from the first noun phrase and their motivation from the first verb. You have to be a big kid. There is this desperation to be important. The powerlessness that comes from being a little kid to the perceived strength of being a big kid is enchanting, specifically in the sense that we know it's not. We all know it doesn't get better the older you are, it just gets easier to cope with. It gets easier to mask your discomfort and maybe even eventually convince yourself it's gone too. This line is so short and yet it delivers an emotion, an extremely precise feeling that can't be replicated by anything else. It's the conclusion to a story that doesn't actually exist unless you're specifically pausing to look for it. You have to be a big kid. That's the draw towards empathy that you can't get anywhere else. Children are the most subjugated class of people. That's undeniable, whether you believe that that subjugation is good for them or not. But everyone had to have experienced this emotion before, right? US society places a lot of emphasis on the sanctity of childhood. It is universally understood that it was the peak of life that we must desire to return to, and yet that understanding has to come with some implicit denial of the negative aspects of childhood. This has always perplexed me because of humanity's inherent negativity bias. We have an easier time remembering bad times that stuff happened than good times that stuff happened. It's a simple principle that for some reason doesn't apply to the one thing that literally every human has to experience. Being a child is inherently a state of powerlessness. You are legally bound to follow any instruction from a higher authority that has effectively zero oversight in the way that it exercises that authority. Subservience is the definition of what it means to be a kid, and our child is understandably upset about that. Being a big kid, being someone with even slightly more power over their circumstances is a necessity, and yet it's also something that most people would find a repulsive idea. Everyone wants to go back to being a little kid again, or at least that's what I'm told, but you have to be a big kid, even if it's hard. That's what big kids do. I'm 18 today. I have legal protections for the first time in my life. This is desirable because the police can no longer be called on me for having a sleepover. I can rent an apartment, I can get more jobs, I can be free. I can be a person now because the state said I've waited long enough to earn it. If I had to make a guess as what makes this line so impactful to me, I'd say the circular nature of it. It's been swirling around in my head for the past 3 years every time I've thought about procrastinating something. You have to be a big kid. That's what big kids do. What are you doing? Being a big kid, being mature, being responsible, being respectable. Why? You have to. There is no justification given for this appeal to maturity because it is seen as self-evidently a good thing to be mature. There must be no justification because in the mind of this child, nothing could possibly be worse than this. You have to be a big kid, even if it's hard. That's what big kids do. Being mature isn't even something that is attainable or desirable. Being a big kid doesn't make any of this easier to deal with. Being a big kid is just what has to be done because nothing could be worse than this. That's left unsaid, of course. Being a big kid is an identity label that is desirable because of these things, but that doesn't need to be said. You have to be a big kid because it's coming either way. Don't you want to take the world on your own terms? The grass is always greener on the other side, as they say. One wishes to have the freedom to buy whatever they want because you're old enough to have a job. One wishes to have the security to need to never worry about how you're going to afford the things you want. You just don't get them. I don't know if I'll ever understand why some people prefer to never have a choice. It's less stressful, but surely the stress of choice paralysis is far less stressful than the stress of having this constant, unwavering knowledge that your entire life could be deliberately ripped out from under you and millions would cheer. It has to be better than this. I'm 18 today. This line is from a video game, Gather Rabbit's Games for Big Kids, a low-budget minigame collection released for the PC in 1996 in which you have to help 12-year-old Gabbit the Rabbit do her chores, and there's a few story cutscenes sprinkled in between. The story it tells is a harrowing tale of abuse. As the game progresses, Gabbit's mother gets more and more abusive, repeatedly chastising her for being ungrateful and for being useless as she can barely help with chores. It hurts to listen to because I know that you have heard it all before. Mom, I'm sorry. I'm working as fast as I can. I'm sorry. I know you said no more tears. It's just a lot for me right now. I'm going through a lot. The one night you spoke to me like I was as much a person as you. Me sitting on the kitchen counter, you scrubbing at those knobby russet potatoes. You likened it to holding your breath under the wishing tunnel. It didn't make me feel better, but I could tell you connected to some of what I shared with you. But the worst part is, I knew things would go right back to how they've always been the next morning. In the end, Gabbit runs away from her abusive home to her friends who have parents that would accept her and says the famous line, "You have to be a big kid, even if it's hard." That's what big kids do. Gather Rabbits isn't real. You would have heard about it if it was. No, an anime YouTuber called Hazel released a video called A Normal Creepypasta Retrospective, in which she and a streamer, May, have a retrospective on the lost art of creepypasta and what eventually came to be its downfall. It's an actual retrospective, but crucially, all of the examples they give are made up for the video. Gather Rabbits is a fake version of Ben Drowned that existed for exactly 290 seconds in an hour-long YouTube video and has never and will never exist beyond that. The line itself wasn't even commented on in the behind-the-scenes video, only focusing on the assets and not the writing. It's tragic in a sense, but that's also what makes it so beautiful. That it happened, it's done. You can move on. I have to admit, I am autistic and it makes it very difficult to separate my life from the narrative structure of video games. I'm only now finishing the tutorial level of my life and I have this urge to purge everything that came before today. I'm 18 today. I have to go now that I have free will. It's better this way. I will never look back at this time fondly. The same way it's hard to appreciate a video game tutorial as anything more than a roadblock to the actual meat of the experience. I can finally take a bite out of life, and I can only hope that it's better than it was before. Because I can't go back. You have to be a big kid, even if it's hard. That's what big kids do.